For these problems, we're going to write the sum as a proper fraction. And remember, a proper fraction is where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So let's do some examples. On number 1, we have 3/8 plus 3/4. And right away, I hope you see that they have different denominators. When fractions have different denominators, you can't add them. You can only add fractions with common denominators. So before we add these fractions, we're going to have to rewrite one or both of them so that they have the same denominator. So if I look at number 1, I see that there is 3/8 and there's 3/4. So I know I'm going to have to change one of these fractions. And since 4 will go into 8 pretty easily, I'm going to go ahead and change 3/4. So instead of 3/4, I'm going to use multiplication to create an equivalent fraction with 8s. So what you do to the bottom, got to do to the top. So I have 6/8. So instead of thinking of 3/4 as 3/4, I'm going to think of it as 6/8. So now that they have common denominators, I can add the numerators. 3 plus 6 is 9/8. But the directions say to write it as a proper fraction, and this fraction's improper. So I'm just going to do the division to find it. So 9 divided by 8 is 1, remainder 1. So my answer is 1 1/8. So let's do another example. Here we have 2/5 and 2/10. I cannot add these because they don't have the same denominator. So I'm going to have to change one of the fractions to have the same denominator. So 2/5 to 2/10, I'm going to change the 2/5 because I can use multiplication to get to tenths. So 5 times 2 is 10, and what I do to the bottom, got to do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. So instead of thinking this as 2/5, I'm going to think of it as 4/10. And then I can add them up. 4 plus 2 is 6, and my denominator stays the same. So 6/10. All right, let's do one more together. Here I have 2/6 and 2/3. I can't add them up because they don't have the same denominator. So I'm going to change 2/3 into 6ths. I can use multiplication to do it. And what I do to the bottom, got to do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. So instead of thinking about 2/3, I'm going to think of it as 4/6. And then I can add it up. 2 plus 4 is 6, and my denominator doesn't change. So instead of thinking of it as 6/6, I know that just means 1 whole. All right, you try some on your own, and if you need help, you can come back and rewatch the video. Good luck!